Shadowverse. The Fast Life. Dot. Dot. The venue at the track is full of people as the massive 100-square-mile open-air arena roars with engines from mud trucks to exotic cars on some of the many closed courses. The smell of burnt rubber fills the air as Kira walks over to the fence, looking out over the expanse of the track. She tries to focus on the cars, hoping to spot something interesting, but finds herself constantly glancing around at the people instead. Looking over as he opens the hood of his Lincoln LS, she sees Blaze from one of her college classes. Suddenly a feeling comes over her and words imprint on her mind. She walks over nervously. Have you heard of our Savior Jesus Christ? She asks him. Blaze raises an eyebrow, looking a bit taken aback by the question. Hi, Kira. Yeah, I've heard of Jesus. Not really sure what that has to do with us being at a car meet, though. Not really for me anyway, he says as he tries to make polite conversation, feeling a bit confused by her sudden religious inquiry. Anyway, about to do my first race with my new modifications. Though not sure you'd know much about cars, he says, closing his hood. Kira was hoping for something interesting to happen tonight, but she never would have expected to strike up a conversation with Blaze. Oh, well, it's just, I was thinking, maybe you could use a friend in your life. Someone who knows about Jesus and how important he is. Blaze chuckles. Nah, I've never seen anything that would prove I need Jesus to be able to get to heaven. He says, looking at his phone's time. Sorry, but I gotta get to the race, he tells her as he climbs into the car. Kira waves awkwardly, feeling disappointed and almost hurt. Please forgive him, Lord, and give him time to see too, she whispers as he pulls away. Her friend Sarah grabs her wrist and breaks her out of her thoughts, pulling her along to watch the next race. Her cheeks flushed a light shade of pink. She looks back at Blaze as he speeds off, feeling a strange mixture of disappointment and regret. Sarah, sensing her mood, gives her a reassuring squeeze. He's just a little strange, she says, giggling as they sit in the stands. As the race begins, Kira watches with intensity as the drivers careen around the track. The smell of burning rubber fills the air, fueling the adrenaline coursing through her veins. The sound of engines roaring fills the space, creating a symphony of power and skill. As the last race comes to a close, large screens face the crowds and show the cars for the final main race of the night pulling up to the starting line. Kira doesn't know why, but she gets nervous as she watches Blaze's Lincoln LS await the start of the race. The tension in the air is palpable as the drivers rev their engines in anticipation. Kira can feel her heart pounding in her chest, her breath catching in her throat. Something about this moment feels significant, like fate is pulling her toward it. The horn sounds, rattling the venue, and the racers take off. Dot. Dot. Blaze pushes the pedal down halfway and the 900 horsepower sedan lurches forward, reaching 60 miles per hour in 3.5 seconds. Kira watches intently as Blaze's car peels away from the starting line, its tires screaming in protest against the track. She feels the vibrations from the engines shaking the very ground beneath her feet. As the first lap goes by, Kira notices that Blaze is actually gaining on the other cars. His driving precise and controlled, despite the track's tight turns and uneven sections. Her heart pounds in her chest, a strange mix of pride and uncertainty. Coming out of the dirt and mud, Blaze slides past the trophy truck, taking first as they enter the artificial lane into a few turns in a straightaway. Dot. Kira looks to her left, growing nervous as they're still out of sight going into the large final turn 2 miles away. Dot. A drone zips by, recording as the truck drifts to Blaze's outside, feathering the throttle, its left front tire off the ground. Their tires smoking through the turn. The truck's wheel settles and the engine roars as it lurches forward, keeping pace with Blaze. They exit the corner into the final stretch. Dot. Kira watches glued to the HD video screen, looking over as they come into sight. To her left, she stands up to get a better view. Dot. Dot. Blaze floors it in the rear tire screen and protests as he looks at the truck beside him. Pulling ahead, he grins as they hit 170 miles per hour. Just then the left front tire of the truck bursts and collides with his Lincoln's wheel. Blaze fights the G-forces for control as the car spins, the gravity shifting as the car tumbles. Dot. Dot. The impact of the crash sending a chill down Kira's spine. In an instant, Blaze's Lincoln LS becomes an out-of-control projectile, flying through the air as it rolls several times, leaving a cloud of dust and debris in its wake. Dot. Dot. Upside down, Blaze groans. He looks around as his vision blurs, seeing the drive shaft, shoved through the floor, having missed his head by a scratch. Looking into the crowd, the last thing he sees before blacking out from his injuries is Kira. The medics rush to Blaze's wreck, trying to stabilize his condition. Kira stands frozen for a moment, staring at the mangled car, her eyes wide with disbelief and horror. She shakes her head, struggling to comprehend what just happened. Dot dot. Dot dot. The next few days, Blaze isn't on campus, so Kira finds her friend Sarah. "I haven't seen your brother lately, is he okay?" "Well, Sarah hesitates, looking a little guilty. "They're still doing tests at the hospital, he's going to be okay. The doctors say he just needs some time to rest." She sighs, running a hand through her hair. She gets an idea. "Hey, maybe you could come with me later to visit him." Kira's heart skips a beat at the news, and she feels a mixture of guilt and concern. I'd like that, thank you," she nods, taking a deep breath to steady her nerves. As Kira and Sarah make their way to the hospital, they find themselves feeling a little apprehensive. When they finally arrive at his room, they see him lying in bed, looking tired but still wearing that familiar cocky smile. He looks over at them as they come into his room. "Hey sis." And Kira. "What, you here to rail on me for being so dumb?" he says, looking at Sarah. Kira can feel the heat rising to her cheeks again. "Oh, Blaze, that's not why we're here. We just wanted to see how you're doing." I hope you're feeling better," she offers, stuttering slightly. Sarah nods, stepping forward. "Not sure why, but Kira was worried about you and figured I'd bring her along." "What, did Mom and Dad already give you a lecture?" Blaze chuckles, then winces. "Yeah. I get that people worry, but it's not that big a deal," he says, shrugging. Sarah sighs. "Like hell it isn't a big deal. How many bones are fractured or broken again?" she says. Kira glances at Sarah as she shakes her head, but then turns back to Blaze. "Even if we just met recently, I'm still glad you're okay. You could have died out there. Thank God you're still here." Blaze glances at her. "I believe it was luck, but thanks, I think," he says, confused. Dot dot. Dot dot. After his sister and Kira have left, Blaze lays back, feeling an odd sense of warmth and calm as he thinks about Kira. No one's really cared like that outside family, even if she is kinda weird. It's kinda nice, but he thinks to himself, looking at the ceiling. Dot. Kira glances up at Blaze's room window from the parking lot, a mixture of emotions flowing through her. Dot dot. Dot dot. A few days later, Blaze enters the house he shares with his sister. Walking into the dining area, he sees Kira fling open her towel as she pulls it around herself, dropping it in her surprise seeing him. He stops in his tracks. "What the hell are you doing here?" he blurts, surprise filling his voice as he turns around. Her cheeks turn red as she grasps for the towel in panic. Blaze blinks a moment as he feels his face grow hotter. "I'm just gonna go in the living room," he says, feeling awkward. Kira quickly finishes getting ready for the women's night get-together Sarah had planned. As she is about to go upstairs to join them, she sees Blaze playing a video game. Feeling nervous, she walks over to the couch and sits down, her legs tucked under her. That was pretty embarrassing. She looks down at the ground, her cheeks still flushed. Blaze grins, laughing. "If it makes you feel any better, you're very beautiful," he says. Kira's cheeks feel as if they are burning as she looks into his eyes just as Sarah appears. "Hey Kira, get up here, we want to get started. Or were you trying to start something down here?" she giggles. Kira feels as if her head looks like a burning match as she quickly stands up, flustered. "No, I was just seeing if he's okay," she says as she makes her way to the stairs. As Kira goes upstairs to join the other girls, she can't help but feel flustered and confused. She turns to look at Blaze, who seems equally as taken aback by the exchange. Sarah nudges her side. "What's up with him?" she asks. Kira looks away a moment. "He saw me naked by mistake as I was grabbing a fresh towel," she says. "Whoa, did he see?" Sarah trails off, her eyes wide. "Wait, are you okay with him seeing that?" she asks, obviously shocked. Kira blushes even deeper. I don't know. I mean, he's just a guy, but..." Sarah smiles. "Ah, you like my brother, don't you?" Kira turns bright red. "What? No, I mean, he's not my type, Sarah," she stammers. But even as she says it, she can't deny the strange warmth that spreads through her at the thought of Blaze. "Sure you don't. He seems to like you though," she tells Kira. Kira looks surprised by Sarah's words, but tries to play it off. "Well, whatever, he's just a guy. It doesn't mean anything," she insists, still blushing. As the night goes on, they talk about a variety of topics, but Blaze stays in Kira's mind. Looking up the steps, Blaze sighs. If she wasn't a Jesus nut, she'd be perfect, he thinks. He shakes his head, trying to clear out the image of her exposed breasts out of his mind as he plays Call of Duty. The next day, Blaze wakes to the smell of bacon and eggs cooking. Walking to the kitchen, he finds Kira. "What are you doing?" he asks, sitting at the center island. Kira glances his way. "I cook for everyone on mornings after girls' night. You'd usually be at the shop messing with your car though." Blaze grins sheepishly, running a hand through his messy hair. "Yeah, well, my sister guilted me into taking some time off, so here I am." He picks up a piece of toast, spreading some butter on it. Kira smiles. "I was wondering if, maybe you wanted to go on a date sometime," she asks, catching him off guard. Blaze's eyebrows raise in surprise. "A date with you?" he asks, trying to hide his excitement. Kira nods. "Yeah, just to talk. Get to know each other better, I guess." She blushes slightly. Blaze smirks. "Well, I'd like that. But I'm sure you'd rather go out with a guy more like your type," he teases, not wanting to seem too eager. Kira rolls her eyes. "Oh, hush. You're not that bad." Blaze laughs. "Well, that's a relief. How about we go out to dinner day after tomorrow?" "My treat." He grins, unable to hide his excitement. Kira blushes again and nods, feeling a mixture of anticipation and nervousness. "Okay, that sounds nice." The night of their date, Blaze arrives at Kira's in a shiny blue Chevy Cobalt SS. As she walks out to the car, he takes in her blue dress as her eyes widen at the sight of him. She bites her lip, seeing his slick black dress pants and fitted button-up shirt, his dark hair perfectly tousled, his eyes lighting up as they meet hers. He looks to the house to see her father peeking through the blinds. Waving as he opens the door for Kira, her father vanishes. Shutting the door, he hops in the driver's seat. "Your dad doesn't like me, does he?" Blaze asks her as he puts the car in gear. She sighs as they pull away from the house. "He just doesn't understand. He thinks going out to dinner with you is a bad influence." She shrugs uncomfortably. "He's not used to me doing things without his permission." Blaze looks at her. "Aren't you like 25? He asks, confused. "I am. But he's old-fashioned. And he's my dad," Kira says with a small smile, then decides to change the subject. "So, where are we going to dinner? How about this place I've heard about? It's not too far. The new fancy Italian place. I heard they have pretty good white wine lemon chicken," he tells her. Kira nods and smiles. "I've heard good things about that place too." "That sounds delicious," she says, leaning back into the seat, feeling a slight thrill at being out with Blaze. They ride in comfortable silence for a while, both lost in their thoughts, until they arrive at the restaurant. The restaurant is beautiful with dim lighting and soft, romantic music playing in the background. As they walk in, she feels Blaze's arm gently brush against hers. She glances over at him and feels a strange stirring within her. She wraps her arm around his and gives a warm smile, feeling her heart race as they make their way to the hostess stand. "So, how much trouble am I in with my father tonight?" she teases, unable to keep the playful tone from her voice. "Not too much, I hope," he says as he flashes a card with a number on it. The hostess scans the card. "Thank you for using our online booking service. Follow me to table and I'll get you a couple menus," she says, smiling. The hostess leads them to a quiet area near the back of the restaurant, their table dimly lit by a small candle flickering softly. As they sit down, Blaze pulls out her chair for her, making sure she's comfortable. Kira smiles at his chivalrous gesture. "Thank you," she murmurs. "So how are you feeling?" Blaze shrugs. "I could be better, but I'm able to handle it," he says, feeling his sore ribs. She narrows her eyes at him. Wasn't your arm broken a few days ago? She asks confused. Nah, just bruised pretty bad. I've healed quickly. Must be all those vitamins I've been taking. Blaze grins sheepishly. Or maybe I'm just that tough. He chuckles, trying to make light of the situation. She giggles and can't help but smile in response. You know it's probably God that helps you, she says to him. Blaze raises an eyebrow. Yeah, maybe. Or maybe I just have good genes. My dad was a tough son of a gun. He pauses, considering her words for a moment. Or maybe there is a higher power looking out for me. Who's to say? Kira smiles. Not exactly a bullseye, but baby steps is better than none. Just then the hostess arrives with the menus as Blaze begins to feel uncomfortable inside but hides it well. It's going great so far and all, but will she stick around? He wonders. ... A week later, Blaze lays on his couch and looks up to see Kira smiling over him. You seem to be doing better, she says. Noticing the almost vanished bruise around his eye. He grins. Thanks to you, actually. Blushing, she sits next to him. You want to watch a movie or go out hiking? She asks. Blaze laughs. Whoa, someone's feeling adventurous. I like the sound of that. A hike sounds great, he says, feeling a surge of happiness at spending time with her. They head out together, talking and getting to know each other better as they hike through a nearby nature trail. Coming to a waterfall, Kira smiles as her and Blaze stand in the cold spray hitting the viewing platform. She grins. I want to do all sorts of things with you, she says, blushing a little at her own words. I'm really enjoying spending time with you. You are different than others. ... Sometime later, back in the car. He glances at her. Kinda weird, but I don't say this much, but I usually don't let people get too close. But you, it's easy, he says, looking over at her. It's easy for me too, she says softly, meeting his gaze. I feel like we balance each other out in a way. You bring out the fun and adventurous side of me, and I help calm you down and make you see the bright side of things. She pauses, biting her lip as she snuggles up to him. He smiles, wrapping an arm around her and pulling her close. Maybe you're right, he says, feeling a warmth spread through his chest. And I'm glad I'm not the only one. She looks up at him as a feeling in her causes her to grip him tighter. Looking into his eyes, she feels a mixture of affection and curiosity. We're so different, maybe it's fate, maybe not. Please don't let him turn out like other guys, she thinks to herself. Unexpectedly, he gently kisses her. She melts into the kiss, enjoying the sweetness and the confidence that he exudes. As their tongues touch, she wonders if this is really happening or if it's all just a dream. Blaze slides his hands around her waist, pulling her closer. Kira feels a stir deep within her as Blaze's hands slide up her back and through her hair. Her heart races, blood pounding in her ears. She grips him tighter, lost in the moment, wanting more. He kisses behind her ear and she sighs softly. He caresses her back, the sensation sending a shiver down her spine, feeling herself grow increasingly aroused. Blaze, wait, she says, gasping for breath. He pulls back, drawing in a breath, eyes smoldering. Wait for what? He asks, annoyed. Kira hesitates a moment. This is moving fast, she says, trying to find her bearings. And I need to be honest. I'm not ready for this. He sits back. Is it the marriage thing? You take that too seriously, he says, chuckling. Kira shakes her head, feeling upset. No. Well, not just that. It's everything. It's just too much. I have to go. Please just take me home, she says. ... A short time later at home, Blaze sits confused, trying to process what just happened. A few hours later, his sister returns home from work. Walking in the door, Blaze can tell she is upset as she walks over to him. What did you do to Kira? She asks him. He shrugs. I didn't do anything. I almost got lucky, but apparently marriage is important, he says. Sarah sighs. She's really upset, Blaze. Why can't you just respect her belief? That's all you have to even do, and she cares about you. Blaze is about to protest but holds his tongue. I care about her too, he says, feeling guilty. Sarah puts her hands on her hips. Then go talk to her and prove it. She tells him. All right. Blaze agrees. Standing up, he heads over to Kira's house, hoping that she's in. When he arrives, he knocks on the door. Kira answers, looking surprised to see him. She takes a step back, opening the door just wide enough for him to enter. Sitting on the couch, he feels awkward but ignores it. I just wanted to come and see if you were okay. I didn't mean to upset you, he says, looking at the floor. Kira looks at Blaze for a moment, then closes the door behind him. She sits down on a nearby chair and sighs. I'm okay, it's complicated, she says, avoiding his gaze. Blaze slides off the couch and kneels in front of her. He takes her hands in his. You know I respect your beliefs, Kira. I wanted to see where this was going. I didn't mean to push you. His eyes meet hers, searching for any sign of forgiveness. I really like you, Kira. Kira looks at Blaze, her expression softening. I like you too, Blaze. A lot, she says slowly. It's just, I'm not the same person as you. My life is different. My parents, my friends, they all think I should be with someone who goes to church. Blaze feels a pit grow in his stomach. I don't care what they think. What is it you want? He asks. She glances away, chewing on her lower lip. I don't know. I just wish I could be with someone who understands me, and who I understand. Someone who isn't afraid to stand up for what they believe in. But also knows when to compromise. She says quietly. I think you should go. I just want some time to myself to think. She says. Blaze nods slowly, understanding her need for space. He stands, helping her up. I'm sorry for pushing you, Kira. And I'm sorry for what I said about marriage. It's just, I've never been good at that sort of thing. I'll leave you alone. But. He trails off, looking at her with those piercing brown eyes. Kira swallows hard, feeling her heart race. But what? She whispers. Blaze smiles slightly. But, I'm not going anywhere. If you ever want to talk, or see me, or just. Kira can't help but return the smile. Okay, thank you, Blaze, she says softly. I'll think about it. She watches as he turns to leave, his broad shoulders filling the doorway. With a deep breath, she closes the door behind him, leaning back against it. Kira closes her eyes, taking a moment to gather her thoughts. Despite her initial confusion and hesitation, she can't deny the pull she feels towards Blaze. His honesty and openness are refreshing, and she finds herself strangely attracted to his rugged charm. A few minutes later, Blaze is cruising the highway as he tries to clear his head. He ponders over their conversation, feeling a mixture of emotions. On one hand, he's happy that she likes him, but on the other, he understands her need for someone who shares her beliefs. As he thinks, an old but painful idea begins to form in his mind. Kira sits on her couch, her heart heavy, torn between her faith and her growing feelings for him. Can we make it work, or are we just too different? She wonders nervously. Sighing, she lays back. Jesus, what should I do? It feels like it's too much. Grabbing the remote, she turns on YouTube. An ad makes her stop. The ad being of a preacher. In this life, we face troubles and hardship, emotional scratches and things, but did Jesus give up on sinners as he suffered? No. He held on to the hope that what he did would save even just a few that would listen. He had mercy and patience as he died for us all. And at our church we stand by that way. Here at Christ's Church of the Saints. May your day be blessed and full of life, and God be with you. The man says. Kira thinks of Blaze as the ad finishes. Sitting down, she leans forward and begins to pray. 3 days later, Blaze waits outside of the college entryway for Kira as she finishes her voluntary community service. Blaze glances around as he waits for Kira, taking in the lively atmosphere of the college campus. He spots her walking toward him, her hair tied up in a messy bun and wearing a pair of jeans and a comfortable sweater. As Kira approaches him, she blushes slightly, still feeling a bit flustered from their previous conversation. Hey, Blaze, she says softly. I'm sorry if I was abrupt the other day. He gives her a small smile. It's okay, Kira. I understand. She looks at him. Where have you been the last few days? Oh, you know. Just been working on my car. Trying to make it run even better. He replies casually. Nodding toward her outfit. You look nice today. So, where do you want to go? He says. Kira thinks a moment, taking a deep breath. Let's just drive around a while, she says, kissing his cheek. Looking at her in surprise, he smiles. Offering her his arm, she takes it as they walk to his car. Unlocking the door, and he helps her inside, then quickly gets in the driver's seat. As he starts the engine, he glances over at her and she looks back at him, feeling the warmth in his gaze. She knows that she can't ignore these feelings anymore. Blaze, she starts, her voice a bit shaky. I think I want to give this a chance. With you, even though we're so different. Blaze smiles at her, genuinely pleased. Really, you're sure? Because I've never felt this way about anyone, Kira. I've never met anyone like you before. He reaches over and takes her hand, giving it a squeeze. As they pull away from the campus, she leans her head on his shoulder, taking in the city while they drive towards the nearby forest. As they continue driving, the buildings giving way to tall trees surrounding the winding roads. The scenery is beautiful, and the air is crisp. They park the car near a secluded trail, climb out, and begin walking through the woods. The leaves crunch beneath their feet, and the sound of birdsong fills the air. As they walk hand in hand, a few other hikers pass by waving. Blaze glances at Kira as they walk, a warm glow spreading through his chest. He's never felt this way about anyone before, and the thought of losing her makes him feel scared. But he knows she's different. She's religious, and comes from a different world than him. He wonders if she would even fit into the world he knows as he watches her look out over the nearby lake. Kira glances back at him, noticing the introspective expression on his face. What's wrong? She asks softly, concern beginning to creep into her voice. Nothing, Blaze says quickly, forcing a reassuring smile. It's just. Just then she asks, so, what do you do for a living? You never really talk about work. Blaze smiles. Well, I'm not proud of it, but I make a living off of drag racing, mostly street races. It's illegal, but hey, I'm good at it. And I guess it pays the bills. I've also got a small garage where I work on other people's cars. She frowns a little. Well, you should try the official races at least. I don't want you getting in any trouble, she says. Blaze nods, knowing that she's just trying to look out for him. You're right, I'll look into that. They continue their walk, enjoying the quiet intimacy of the moment. As they come to a clearing near a small stream, they share a quick kiss. He looks around as the light begins to fade, feeling uneasy. He looks at his watch as it vibrates and he silences the alarm. Kira glances at him. Something important you missed, she asks, taking his hand. He ignores an inner voice telling him it's time to leave. No, but we do have to go soon. Don't want to be stuck out here at night, he says as she pulls him into the lake with her. As the two of them wade into the cool water of the lake, Blaze suddenly feels a surge of happiness. He tries to ignore the uneasiness he's been feeling, enjoying the moment with Kira. They splash around playfully, laughing as the water rushes past them. Just then she comes over to him and seems to be thinking a moment. Have you ever tried trusting God? She asks, giving him a coy look. Blaze frowns, unused to hearing the word God in a casual conversation. Trusting God? Well, I'm not really into that whole religion thing. I mean, I've just seen too much to think God cares much if he is there, he says, shrugging. She puts her hand on his shoulder. What would it take to prove it to you? She says, almost pleadingly. Sighing, he thinks for a moment, looking into Kira's eyes. I don't know. Something big, I guess. Something that only God could do, he replies, hesitantly. She looks at him with determination. Then I'll pray for that, but you have to do something too, she says. Blaze looks at her a moment. And what would that be? Kira contemplates. I know it's not the official way, but I could baptize you, though you have to accept Jesus as your savior, she says, smiling. Blaze nods slowly. Yeah, all right. If that's what it takes, I'll give it a shot, he replies with a shrug. Blaze comes up from the water with a look of confusion on his face. He hugs Kira tightly and then leads her out of the lake as the sunlight fades, making their way to the car. Once there, she stares at him a moment. Are you okay? She asks. He shakes his head. Yeah, I'm just not sure what to make of. He pauses. Kira feels her heart sink. I know it's not much that happens, but have faith, she says, smiling as she climbs into the car. He climbs in next to her, his mind racing as he thinks of how much he cares for her. Dot. 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 Driving through the forest, Kira notices Blaze glance at a lone hiker along the road and shake his head. What's wrong? She asks. Blaze sighs. Just a little tired, he says as if confused. He shifts in his seat as the car hits 60 miles per hour. After another minute of driving, Kira leans on his shoulder. When we get back, let's cuddle and watch some Mr. Ballin stories, she says. He hesitates a moment. Yes. He looks around to the car's right side. How long was it before? 30 to 40 seconds. He thinks, swallowing. Just as he's about to look away, a darkened shape hurtles along the road, crossing Dave's. Blaze slams the brakes and jerks the wheel. The headlights light up a jet black semi running without its lights just before an impact that tears away the left headlight and fender panel. The car lurches into spin and comes to rest at the side of the road as the semi hurtles on without even hitting its brakes. Kira and Blaze exchange worried glances as the impact of the crash echoes in their ears. Blaze, are you okay? Kira asks, her voice trembling. He looks at her. I'm fine, are you hurt? He asks. No, I don't think I'm hurt, but we should get out of the car, just in case. Kira says, her heart racing as she unbuckles her seatbelt. Blaze looks down the road and then back at Kira. Baby, just stay in the car, okay? He tells her, reaching inside the door panel, pulling something out. What are you doing? Kira asks, eyes widening as she notices Blaze taking out some sort of weapon from the door. Before she can react or protest further, a dark form emerges from the darkness beside the road. Blaze looks at her. This won't make sense to you, but I'll explain later, he says, and then walks towards the large dark shape. There's a light rumble of an engine and the dark semi rolls into the moonlight. Blaze stares at the windows of the big rig. If you're not the real Phantom Semi, you should really turn around and leave, he says, raising the weapon he retrieved. Aiming to the side of the road, a bright blue energy bulb explodes a thick tree, causing it to fall into the forest. The semi seems to growl as it stands its ground. A loudspeaker on top crackles and a gravelly deep voice fills the air. Oh come on Blaze, it was just a love tap. You know these are my roads at these hours. Kira looks at Blaze in shock as he begins to converse with the large dark semi. His words seem to have no effect on the vehicle, but it doesn't move any closer either. She grips the seatbelt tightly, feeling both terrified and confused. Doc. Blaze slowly backs to the car. Well then, why'd you hit us? He asks the thing. The deep voice laughs heartily from the speakers of the semi. Oh Blaze, you know I didn't hit you. You just weren't looking where you were going. And besides, you know I get going, I stay going. The semi rolls forward, coming to a stop near him as a red glow emanates from behind the grille and underside. He raises the energy pistol and fires several shots as the truck lurches forward, causing it to retreat as it takes light damage. Climbing into the car, he turns the key and it rumbles to life. Kira, keep an eye on that thing and tell me what it's doing, he says as he pulls onto the road, gunning the 600 horsepower engine. She looks back to see the semi follow him, its lights flashing, its tires smoking as it gains ground. Doc. He grips the wheel tighter and concentrates on driving, trying to lose the truck. It's not letting up Blaze. It's gaining on us. He curses, pushing a button on the dash, and the radio crackles. Shadow 01, this channel is for emergency use. This better be good, soldier. A gruff voice barks. It is, sir. The Phantom Truck's decided I'm in its kill list tonight, and I kinda also have my girlfriend with me. There's a pause on the other end of the radio. Shadow 01, you're cleared for evasive maneuvers. Do whatever it takes to lose the target, but bring the girlfriend home in one piece, the gruff voice says before cutting the connection. Blaze stares at the radio in disbelief a moment, then turns his attention back to the road as there's a hard impact from behind. The impact causes the car to fishtail wildly before regaining control. Shit, they're trying to spin us out. Keep your eyes open, Kira, Blaze says as he navigates through the tight turns and bumpy terrain. Kira turns to him. I don't see it anymore, she says, worried. Blaze draws in a breath as the light vanishes on the passenger side of the car, and then the world goes black. The impact of the semi-truck slams Kira and Blaze against their seatbelts as the car spins out of control. The world is a blur of confusion as the sounds of crumpling metal fill their ears. Finally, the car comes to a stop and silence falls, only broken by the sounds of their ragged breathing and the sizzling ticks of the car. Blaze comes to upside down in his seat. He reaches over to feel for Kira in the darkness and finds her still in her seat as well. Kira, he says through the pain. Kira slowly comes to, wincing as her head throbs from the impact. She looks around, disoriented, and realizes they've flipped over in the car. Blaze, she asks, her voice trembling slightly as she reaches out to feel for him. Blaze. It's okay, I'm here, he says as he feels warm liquid cover his hand. Kira, are you hurt? He asks as panic grips his chest. No, I don't think so, Kira answers, wincing again. My head hurts, but I think I'm okay. Blaze, are you hurt bad? I don't know, he responds, voice quivering slightly. Blaze, no matter what, promise me. You won't ever doubt God, she says. Blaze looks at her, confused. But I don't even know who he is. That's why I want you to promise me. Trust me, Kira pleads. Blaze feels anger build. How can I if this is what happens? I couldn't even change what I saw at the lake. And what? How is God helping right now? He asks. Kira grabs his hand, pulling it away from her injury. Blaze, maybe you don't get it, but you helped me see it. It's not about ourselves and the help, sometimes it's you. She says softly. Blaze feels her grip loosen and his chest tightens. Blaze studies her face in the darkness as her words echo in his mind. Okay, Kira, I promise, I'll trust you, and I'll try to trust God too. He says, his voice barely a whisper. He unclasps the seat belt, falling from his seat. Kicking off the driver's side door, he climbs up the steep hill to the roadway as he looks at his watch. Good, time's up for the truck. Please, God, if you're there, please help us, he thinks as he goes back to climbing. Kira watches Blaze climb to freedom, a shiver running down her spine. He has promised to trust her and trust God, and she feels a mix of hope and fear as she waits for him to return. I'm trusting you too, Blaze, she whispers, her voice barely audible. He reaches the top of the ditch and looks in both directions, seeing a pair of headlights in the distance. Waving them down, he is surprised to see it is a church van from a church not far away. Seeing his condition, the people quickly call 911, an emergency crews to the accident. The next day, Blaze is in Kira's hospital room as she begins to wake from her surgery. Kira slowly opens her eyes and blinks several times, trying to adjust to the light. When she focuses on Blaze's face, a relieved smile crosses her lips. Hey there, she whispers. Blaze smiles back, wiping a few tears from his eyes, and hugs her, being careful of her wounds. Kira blushes slightly as Blaze hugs her tightly, feeling safe and protected in his arms. I'm glad to see you up and around too, he says, his voice thick with emotion. I don't know what I'd do if anything happened to you. Kira smiles warmly up at Blaze, feeling the same way. You'd be okay, but it's nice to know I've got someone like you looking out for me, she says, giving him a brief kiss on the cheek. You know, you have some explaining to do, Mr. Like, what was that truck thing and who are you really? She asks. Blaze chuckles softly, still hugging her. Well, Kira, you're the first person I've ever wanted to share all that with. And I've got a feeling you're the only one who would understand. He looks deep into her eyes, searching for any sign of disbelief or judgment. Kira blushes again and looks away shyly. I don't know, Blaze. It's a lot to take in. But I'm willing to hear you out. She takes a deep breath, trying to find the courage to meet his gaze. But you have to promise me something first. Blaze's expression turns solemn. All right, Kira, anything. She pauses for a moment, searching for the right words. Promise me that you'll give this God thing a fair chance, at least enough to understand what I believe in. Not just dismiss it right away. Blaze nods slowly, his eyes never leaving her face. All right, Kira, I promise I'll give it a fair chance. For you, I'll try to understand. He pauses for a moment, looking at the hospital bracelets on their wrists. But first let's get healed and then we'll talk about my job, he says. Kira nods, laying back. That sounds like a plan. Hey, do they have sweet foods here? She asks. Blaze chuckles. They do. Hold in, I'll go and see what they have, he says, kissing her forehead. A few months later. Kira sits with Blaze at the back of an almost empty movie theater. So, you keep dodging the hole, tell me about your job and the strange truck, she says, looking at him. Well, I guess it's time I fill you in on everything. Blaze hesitates, unsure how much to tell Kira. So, about my job, he begins, taking a deep breath. I go around and investigate high strangeness events, he says. Seeing her confusion, he continues. High strangeness would be, like that truck that hit us. Or aliens, Bigfoot, demons and other stuff. Kira blinks, taking a moment to process this new information. Wow, I had no idea, and you think that was a demon? Or some sort of alien? She asks, her voice laced with disbelief but curiosity as well. I'm not saying it was a demon, per se. Kira snaps her gaze to him. Wait, so, you knew demons and spirits exist but I was weird for believing in God? She asks. Blaze hesitates, knowing he's walking a fine line here. Look, Kira, I didn't mean to offend you. It's just, I've seen some pretty crazy stuff. And it's hard not to question everything. And no one's ever put it like you did. And really my job kinda makes more sense. Demons and stuff that have no chance and all they have to do is mess with humans till the end of time. No wonder the things do stuff that makes no sense. Kira takes a deep breath, trying to calm down. I get that, Blaze, but it's just, my faith is a big part of who I am. And it helps me make sense of things, you know. She pauses, looking at him. Wait, you said, you actually believe now too? She asks, smiling. Blaze blushes slightly, returning the smile. Well, I've seen some pretty impressive stuff in my time, and I can't deny there's something going on here. I mean, he trails off, remembering the baptism and the vision he saw of the phantom semi. He puts an arm around her and kisses her forehead. The two fall silent as the movie begins to play, their eyes focused on the screen. Throughout the film, Kira occasionally leans into Blaze, seeking reassurance or a moment of connection. She thinks about the strange events that have brought them together and how much he's come to mean to her. Meanwhile, above, a silent invisible drone keeps watch over them. Its camera zooming in on Kira. I know he usually does what he wants to, but this is a real issue, a gruff voice says as a few observers watch the feed. Another man speaks up. We'll keep an eye on them, he says, pausing a moment. If he starts avoiding missions we can't handle, we'll step in. Another clears his throat. And if he tells the woman more about our operations? Then what? The commanding officer's gruff voice fills the room. Then we make her disappear and drag him into solitary till he complies, he says coldly. A female researcher nearby chimes in. And if it is his other half? The Mirabur Jane we've been looking for. He will never work with us again. And could lose a potential asset. Something Blaze said draws their attention back to the drone footage, his alarm going off. Kira nods as she watches the movie, her thoughts drifting to what Blaze just said. You know, she says softly, her grip on his arm tightening just a little, I get what you're saying about your job. And I want you to keep investigating, keep learning about all of it. I just want you to be careful. He kisses her forehead and chuckles. I will be, my love, he says as he gets up to ready for work. Kira kisses his cheek. Thank you. So, you and I should make a pact, huh? She grins nervously, raising her hand. We still haven't consummated our marriage yet. So you better make it back, she says, looking at their twin rings. As Blaze looks at her and is taken aback by the mixture of innocence and heat in her expression. He lowers his voice to a husky whisper. Oh, trust me, I plan on making it back. And when I do, he grins as he leaves for a mission. Kira nervously playing with her hair as she watches the movie. You better come home, she thinks. A few hours later, Blaze sighs as he sits in the mission room of Area 51. Well, this is gonna make it complicated, he thinks as he listens to the mission briefing. He raises his hand and the commanding general sighs. What is it, Blaze? He says. Blaze tilts back in his chair. Where is it and how long will it be, cause you kinda interrupted my peaceful honeymoon? The commanding general looks at Blaze with a mixture of confusion and amusement. Blaze, we're in the middle of a top priority mission briefing. He points to the map on the wall. Since you're so eager, the location in the Middle East near Afghanistan. And it will take as long as necessary. Your wife can wait, soldier. Now shut up and listen, he says. Blaze sighs and is about to complain. A court-martial would probably be worse, he thinks, shifting in his seat. He listens to the briefing feeling uneasy. As they all leave, Blaze is stopped by their CG. I know you think you run things here. They sent me to set you straight, he says, drawing a chuckle from Blaze. You have no clue what I even am to you, he says, trying to walk past, but Barkley stops him with a hand. The next thing Blaze notices is the door slamming into his back, knocking the wind out of him. He pushes off and dashes forward, throwing a straight punch. The floor cracks, shaking the area as his CG catches his fist, then lands an equally powerful blow to Blaze's gut. He gasps, unable to breathe, as he drops to his knees, doubling over. Barkley towers above him. Stay in line like the rest. We are able to replicate your abilities. Only reason we still need you is... He pauses. Well, I'll let you figure that out. Make us proud, soldier, he tells him, then walks away. Blaze pulls in a few short breaths as his body aches. I knew something was weird about General Barkley, he thinks as he begins to catch his breath. Blaze gets to his feet slowly, glaring at his CG a moment, then makes his way to the equipment room to prep the team's gear. He texts Kira, telling her what he can, and she texts back. I hope it's not too long. Blaze fights back tears. Me too, I'll do what I can to get this next job done and get home sooner. He types. Blaze takes a deep breath and continues to prepare the equipment. As he's working, he can't help but feel a mix of anger and frustration towards the situation. The thought of leaving Kira alone for an unknown amount of time is unbearable. How can I get away from him and have my own life? He thinks to himself as the others arrive and begin to prepare. Within the hour, Blaze looks out of the cargo bay of a hypersonic transport aircraft as it begins to close. Focus on the mission, soldier, the team leader reminds Blaze, slapping him on the back. We'll get you back to her ASAP. The others nod in agreement, their eyes equally clouded with worry as they buckle into their seats. Barkley chuckles. That's the spirit. Teamwork. But this isn't anything like past missions. These things don't mind being seen, and they are large in numbers but spread out. Blaze glances at him. That wasn't in the briefing. Sir, what class of entity do overhead scanners detect? The commanding general pauses, seeming taken aback by Blaze's question. He glances around before answering in a hushed tone. They don't register on our sensors. Or at least, not like anything we've ever encountered before. Blaze furrows his brow. So we don't even know if they are city killers. Car crushers, he asks, wishing he had brought more powerful energy weapons. The commanding general stares at Blaze for a long moment, then nods grimly. Yes, there is that possibility. And no, we don't. That's why we need to move quickly and carefully. Now, sit back, shut up, and listen. He turns his attention to the rest of men. I will also be jumping with you. Higher-ups want to test our abilities in a real combat scenario with these things. Everyone looks at him as the plane shudders slightly, braking Mach 1. Blaze throws him a sleek black wingsuit. And nods at the hulk of a man. Don't think that means I forgot about earlier, Blaze, Barkley says as he walks back to his private area of the jet. Blaze sighs and takes the wingsuit. Yes, sir. Won't happen again, he mutters. He straps himself into his seat and pulls the safety harness as tight as he can stand, bracing for the inevitable turbulence ahead. His eyes narrow with determination. After zoning out a while to the drone of engines, the green light turns red. The drop zone is hidden in the middle of a dense forest, and as soon as the ramp of the transport opens, they disembark quickly and quietly as the wingsuit into a parachute landing. Blaze looks at the 10 men and is about to give an order, but remembers Barkley as the lead on this operation. Orders, sir, he whispers, looking around the trees with his night vision. We move southwest, towards the last known location of the enemy. Use your senses, your training. And remember, they're faster and more agile than anything you've ever faced. Move swiftly, silently, and with purpose. Barkley replies, his voice cold and decisive. Or has that wretched woman softened you too much? He says. Treat this as if you're in command and I'm just tagging along. Blaze balls his fists but keeps himself calm. No sir, and don't insult my wife again, sir, he says. Barkley grins as he studies Blaze's expression. I like what I see. Don't think you can challenge me either, he says. Blaze looks at the 12 men under his command and orders them to sweep the area and stay within eyesight of each other. Blaze looks around the forest, his senses heightened and his training taking over. He moves quickly and quietly through the darkness, his night vision allowing him to navigate with ease. As he follows Barkley's lead, he can't shake the feeling that something isn't right. Why's what he said about Kira sound so familiar? He thinks. Just then Blaze stops as he spots a city-level threat chewing on an unrecognizable carcass. He freezes in his tracks, his heart racing. The city-level threat before him unlike anything he's seen. He pulls out his radio and whispers into it, quickly relaying the situation to the rest of the squad. He then turns to Barkley. Sir, do you want to reconsider the plan? Barkley sighs, then raises his energy rifle firing at the demonic creature. Barkley says, you wanted to reconsider the plan. Well, there it is. Now let's see what you can do about it. With that he charges forward firing at the creature as he advances. Blaze and the others add their energy rifles to the assault and the demonic creature starts taking damage. As they continue to fire, the creature seems to shift forms, becoming more elusive and difficult to hit. Suddenly, it disappears from sight. One of their men's screams fade into the sky as he's snatched away. Coming back down, his voice cries out. No, there's a ripping sound and liquid dripping to the leaves, then the breaking of branches followed by a hard thud. Blaze looks over towards the separated upper and lower halves of the man 50 feet away. Then Blaze follows after as another is dragged screaming into the woods. His death cry turning to gurgling, then silence with a sick echoing crack at the neck. Form up on me, Blaze yells, seeing the squad splinter and fall prey to the creature. His voice cracks as his heart pumps fear, adrenaline and anger through his body. He grabs his mic. Form up back to back, 360 coverage and four corners of the compass watch up in the trees. He orders. As Blaze and the surviving soldiers form up and face the forest. Their hearts dropping as more demons move in. Dot. Dot.